Hello, welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Folks, it's our job to give you some interesting news in the world of sports, entertainment, odd news, and whatever else we happen to stumble across in this hour-long or so podcast. I'm Rich Liebig.
And I'm Michael Costanzo.
And yes, so we are here to give you some interesting tidbits to learn in the world of sports, entertainment, and odd news from the past week. But before we get to all of those news topics at hand, Mikey, my friend, how you doing? What's happening in Costanzo Country?
I'm doing pretty good. Costanzo Country, myself and Jordan went to the Big Apple.
Glad you clarified that.
Yeah,
You didn't take a whole country with you.
No, not the whole country. That's a lot of people. Too many hotel rooms for that. But no, Jordan and I went to the Big Apple, New York City, for her birthday weekend, and we lived it up. We went to, a fancy restaurant. We saw Book of Mormon on Broadway. My first time ever seeing the show. It was absolutely outrageously just off the wall, absurd, but hilarious. Everything they said is true about how irreverent it is, how raunchy it is.
I wouldn't expect anything less from the South Park creators.
Yeah, and I knew going into it, like, all right, so this was created by the South Park guys. There's going to be a certain level of, like, crude, raunchy, irreverent humor, but I was not expecting half of what was happening in the musical. It was so wild at times. I was like, I cannot believe they're saying and singing the things that they're saying and singing, but it was so freaking funny. There was one song called Spooky Mormon Hell Dream, where I was literally laughing through the entire song from start to finish. Like, my sides started to hurt laughing so much. It's coming to Philly in October, so if anybody in our area is looking for a show to see, go check it out. Just steel yourselves. If you're easily offended, this is not the show for you.
Yeah.
If you're not easily offended, go check it out. The music is catchy. The humor is absurd and ridiculous. And it's just actually a really good, enjoyable show. Like, the story of it and everything is really fun. So we saw that on Broadway. It was fantastic. It was only my, I think, second or third time ever seeing a show on Broadway. So that was fun. We saw the Empire State Building. We got a bagel, got some pizza, all the classic things you're supposed to do. So it was a really good weekend. Just a short little, Amtrak trip up to New York and back. It was a good time.
There you go.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been up to?
Let's see. We watched on Netflix. There was a movie called Damsel.
Oh yeah, I think I saw part of that.
Yeah, we watched it. Yeah,
it's Millie Bobby Brown, right?
Yeah.
What did you?
She was in it. Robin Wright was in it.
Oh yeah, House of Cards. Robin Wright.
House of
I haven't
Cards.
seen her in a long time.
Yeah, it was. It was all right. I don't know. I wouldn't say it was the best movie.
Yeah.
There's some good parts in it.
I slept through about 80% of it, but the 20%.
That's a good way to phrase that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was. I can't really pass judgment. I didn't see any of it, so.
Wow. Just all right, there you go. So did you attempt to watch it though?
I attempted. My parents and Jordan watched it, and about like 15, 20 minutes in, I was kind of like, this is dumb. I'm just going to go to sleep. And I just fell asleep on the couch. I was bad.
Wow.
But so you were saying though, I mean, how did you guys like it?
Yeah, I think Rachel really liked it. I don't know. I was kind of, like the story is.
Well, you're not a really big fantasy person.
No, I'm not a big fantasy guy.
It had like a dragon in it. I remember that. I know you're not a dragon person.
No.
Yeah.
There were some good parts in it. Some of the there's some grown moments in there. When it comes to the story, but overall, if you're interested in that genre, I think it's worth your time. But if that doesn't appeal to you, then I give it like a 6.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I took it. Like, it's just kind of a movie that you watch and it happens. And then you just move on with your life. That's the best way I can describe movies like that,
Yeah, It happens.
It happens.
It was a movie, and it happened.
Yeah, it happens. You're there for the ride, and you're at the end of it, you're like, okay, that was certainly a movie.
Yes. So, there's that. I'm more keenly intent on though the regime right now. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, you've been enjoying that.
It is a crazy show, and it's just every week's just like finding new ways to get crazier and crazier.
I gotta start that. I've been watching Shogun. I think they came out like the same week.
That's been your TV following.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. It's really, really good. It's got all the drama and politicking that you like from shows like Game of Thrones, the original House of Cards back when it wasn't terrible. But it's like that feudal Japan, very, very cool, like samurai kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I got to start the regime. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah,
It's a dark comedy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much a parody on, all these totalitarian regimes.
Right.
Just thinking about how absurd one of these leaders could really become.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah, so make sure you check all that out. But for right now, we need to get into the first batch of news that revolve around sports in the Sports Sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life. Sports.
In your face. Ha ha!
That's right. Sports coming at you in your face here. Let's see. We've got a couple of topics here.
We got
out the paper.
One big topic that I know you wanted to get to. A very serious topic in the world of baseball. Shohei Ohtani, probably the biggest star in baseball right now. There's nobody bigger than him. He might not be part of baseball depending on how the next few weeks and months shake out because he is embroiled right now in a big sports gambling case.
Yeah, this is potentially, career ending if certain things come to light and things don't line up correctly.
Yeah.
A federal investigation that was going into an underground gambling ring in California implicated Shohei Ohtani. That is because there was wire transfers that were made from Ohtani's bank account to this underground gambling ring. Ohtani's camp says that it was all the fault of his interpreter. He was the one that was directly involved, according to Ohtani's camp. Literally in the press release, they've said that this is a massive theft, quote unquote, and that Ohtani is, quote, just a victim. So they're laying it all on the line that this had nothing to do with Ohtani. He's innocent. This was completely the interpreter, 100% from start to finish. That is ballsy because they better make sure that all of the documents, all of the, interviews, all the stories from here on out, everything lines up with that story. If there, because if there's one thing that is out of place or something that doesn't add up, you bet that, the news reporters, the federal investigations, they're going to pounce on it.
Yeah.
So, Ohtani better, I guess I can believe it, but it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough that he didn't realize something from his bank account didn't seem right.
Yeah, and that's the thing that keeps getting me is, sure, I can believe that his interpreter is doing it behind his back because Shohei Ohtani doesn't speak any English.
No.
Right? So it's the perfect opportunity for somebody who's that close to him to take advantage. I just don't believe that he would notice $4.5 million in wire. I know he just signed $1 billion contract or whatever, but $4.5 million, that's still a lot of money. And I guess, a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there over the course of months or years, whatever. But it's just going to be really tough to show that he didn't have any kind of knowledge of this when he has direct access to the accounts and to, the computer authorization and all that stuff, and so close to the interpreter. How do you make the case that he was completely oblivious to it? It's they really have to have everything, it has to be foolproof. Some kind of paper trail that shows oh, he never looked at this or he had no idea. I don't know. It's a very dicey situation.
Absolutely, and it's he's saying the right things and he's doing what he's supposed to do to kind of smooth the waters on this, but inadvertently he's also kind of opening himself up to criticism because they're placing the blame entirely on this interpreter. In a follow-up press conference, Ohtani said specifically he has never bet on baseball or any other sports, nor has he ever asked somebody to do it on his behalf. He's also denied ever using a bookmaker to bet on sports. And he also said that, quote, he's very sad and shocked that someone who he trusted had done this. So, I mean, that's what you say, obviously, to try and get out of the situation.
Right.
But those are some, like, serious lockdown statements.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there better not be any sort of way to tie any of these bets to him.
Yeah.
Because if not, he's clearly lying about any of this.
Yeah. If just a single part of it is false, then it just kind of snowballs and people start questioning, well, what else is false? And the thing you have to worry about is when you lay all this blame on one person, what's to stop the fall guy from being like, you know what, screw you. You did tell me to do it. You know? Is the interpreter just going to go along with it? Take the fall for this? Maybe. But, there's always the possibility that if Ohtani did have some kind of involvement in it, somebody breaks and tattles on him. And this would be devastating for Ohtani.
Oh, yeah.
And for baseball.
Out of all the sports to do this, baseball is probably the one you probably shouldn't be doing it with.
I just don't understand. Time and time again, we have stories of, like, an athlete making sports bets. Bet on literally anything else. Bet on anything else. Just don't.
Some leagues, even betting on something else you can't do it.
Right. And baseball is one of those, I assume, one of those leagues. They're very, very strict.
Well, I mean, they've had bad history with it the Black Sox scandal and Pete Rose. Yeah, they don't have a good track record when it comes to this. So they would not want to have any cloud of gambling hanging over somebody.
If you are a multimillionaire and you're in the sports world, just don't gamble. Just don't do it at all. Just hard stop.
I mean, if you're
you already made your money. You don't need you'll get more.
Yeah, if you're making millions of dollars, with this as a career, why even take the risk? But who knows?
Every couple of months, the story comes up. Didn't we just have one with that one golfer? What's his name? The big guy.
Phil Mickelson.
Phil
Mickelson had he had outrageous gambling debts. He was like something like 400 million.
Yeah, like tens, hundreds of millions. Yeah, like just don't do it. Why you got to piss away your whole career, your whole image?
Yeah.
To win a couple of bets.
Well, it's definitely a situation we're going to keep an eye on because once again, it just here's really the bottom line. The burden of proof falls now completely on Ohtani.
Yeah.
He's got to make sure that he gets, 100% accuracy with whatever story he's going to tell as to why this happened, why this $4.5 million in wire transfers went from his account to this underground gambling ring.
Right, because in the world of sports, you're not innocent until proven guilty. You, especially with gambling, you're always guilty until you can prove that you're innocent.
Well, it is if you're going to double down on a scapegoat.
Yeah. So he needs to prove that he had no involvement in it. Otherwise, it was his money from his bank account, from his employee. That's pretty damning right there. You got to prove you have no involvement whatsoever.
Right.
It's going to be tough.
So
we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of those things I texted you, Mike. I was just like, this is literally out of left field.
It's bombshell.
I mean, I never would have guessed this was how we're going to start the baseball season. Literally,
especially after he just signed like one of the biggest contracts ever. He's like the next Babe Ruth, and then all of a sudden he's going to be out of the game. Maybe.
I mean, if
this goes sideways,
right? If this goes sideways, if there's any loose ends that doesn't add up, then
the Ohtani era's over before it began.
Yeah, with the Dodgers, yeah, that would be pretty sad.
That would be insane.
Although it would be good for the Phillies. It'd be an easier path to make the World Series again.
Better for the Phillies, but bad for baseball in general. Ohtani, he was the next big thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, shocking news. And boy, couldn't come at a worse time too, because this is literally, I think this upcoming weekend is opening weekend for the season.
Yeah.
So
wow.
like literally,
what a
can't,
specter over everything.
Yeah, you couldn't have timed this any poorly.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is not the way they wanted to advertise with ESPN and all the news outlets going into the season, worrying about whether or not Ohtani gambled $4.5 million.
I will say, on a side note, I think that these leagues are not doing any favors to these players by partnering with the gambling apps.
Yeah.
I think it's causing. I think the fact that there are going to be 3 of the big 4 sports in Vegas,
Yeah.
coupled with the constant promotions of the gambling apps and the legalization of sports betting in a lot of other states, it's almost setting up these players for failure. You get like 21, 22-year-olds with a huge flush of cash, and all of a sudden, like, they're like, oh, do you want to do a promotion for DraftKings? And they're like, okay, sure, whatever. And then one thing leads to another. I feel like it's setting them up for failure. I feel like if it's going to be a thing that if you're going to be so strict on players for gambling, you should not have gambling promotions with your players or with your leagues in that way.
Yeah, there was something to the tune of they were making fun of ESPN, brought to you by ESPN Bet in the FanDuel Sportsbook Hall, presented to you by the DraftKings Play of the Day.
Yeah.
Topic of the day: why is Shohei Ohtani sports gambling? Had like all of the sports, bookies like listed as advertisers,
Yeah.
which it kind of is. Between ESPN has its own betting now, ESPN Bet,
It does, yeah.
and Pat McAfee was backed by FanDuel.
Yeah.
So right there, like on Pat McAfee's show, he's backed up by 2 sports books.
Yeah.
Without anything else coming into question.
It's just so weird that they can be so harsh on players who gamble, but then on the other hand, be raking in all of this gambling promotional stuff.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. So there you go. Crazy. Not the way baseball wanted to have headlines to start off the season,
No,
but
absolutely not.
no. There are other headlines, though, to get to as well that revolve around the world of football, and I'm sure you're excited to talk about these as well.
Oh, yeah. Big changes happening coming out of the owners' meetings for the NFL. A lot of rule changes shaking up the game. We'll start with some of the, I don't want to say not important ones, but the not interesting ones, really.
Yeah, give us what you got.
I mean, look, that's the only way to put it. They moved the trade deadline back a week. Sure, that's helpful. This is a fun one. Coaches get an additional challenge if they get just one of them right. You don't have to get both of them right to get an additional challenge now.
So now it's so it's just one right.
You get one right. You get one correct challenge, and you get an additional one. You get a third challenge. Before you used to have to get.
So
both
if you
of them.
miss 2, you don't get a third one?
No.
Oh, I thought you always had 3. Oh no, it was timeouts. I'm sorry.
I was like, where are you at?
Yeah, sorry. No, you're right. I'm getting things mixed up there.
Yeah, no. So the way it works is right now you get 2 challenges. If you get both of them correct, you get a third. But they've changed it so you only have to get 1 right, and then you get your third.
Got it.
I like that because there's going to be more challenges now. Coaches aren't going to be worried about you only got to get 50% correct.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
right.
You see more challenge flags. I think it creates a little bit more drama.
Got it.
Speaking of drama, they can also allow replay assistance for some penalties. So there's already replay assistance for things like catch versus no catch, but now the replay officials can weigh in on some of the penalties as well, provide recommendations to the on-field refs, but the refs on the field don't have to accept those recommendations. The final call still comes down to them. It's basically like an eye in the sky, kind of like, yeah, they weren't really out of the tackle box when they threw that ball. Maybe it should be, intentional grounding, or maybe it shouldn't be intentional grounding kind of thing. So, I don't know. I think more eyes on plays is a good thing to help plays that are egregiously incorrect. You know?
Yeah, so is that like kind of a better eye in the sky kind of deal?
Kind of thing, yeah. More eyes on plays. But let's face it, those rules changes are small potatoes compared to the next two.
Yep.
I don't know which one you want to go with first. Which one do you feel more passionate about? There's two big changes.
No, they're both I'm pretty big on.
They're both really, really big changes. The first, I think the one that most people are going to immediately recognize are the new kickoff rules. So we talked about this actually several weeks ago.
Yeah, you called this.
I called it almost perfectly. I said that the NFL was looking at XFL-style rules to replace the current kickoff method. The issue was that, sure, kickoffs, they changed them a lot to prevent injuries. And the number of injuries went down, but only because the number of kickoffs went down. But the rate at which injuries occurred stayed the same, meaning if somebody returned a kickoff, they basically got injured. The only reason the number went down is because nobody returned kicks because it was stupid to return them. So this resulted in two things. One, there were no kickoff returns. In the Super Bowl, 0 of 13 kickoffs were returned. That's boring. Nobody wants to watch that.
Oh, I never thought of it like that. Yeah, nobody.
And
I guess that's true.
The worst thing in all of sports, I think you can agree, is notifications. Notifications are like ads, and nobody likes ads in sports.
Oh my gosh.
And this segment has been brought to you by Windows Defender. Protect your computer from all sorts of virus and malware threats. It only interrupts you once a week on Tuesdays.
Specifically when we're trying to do the podcast. Oh gosh.
Every time.
Yeah.
But just
we really should be sponsored by them at this rate.
At this point.
Jeez. Thank you. Do not do not disturb didn't work.
Do not disturb disturbs you.
Yeah, apparently. Thank you.
But no, the point is that everybody hates the thing where team scores, then they kick off, then ad break, team scores, ad break, kickoff, ad break. You know, too many ads, and the kickoff, you already know what's going to happen. 90-some% of them are just touchbacks now. There's no point to the play. So in a way to save the play, they decided, let's dramatically change the setup for kickoff. So we have a graphic for video viewers of what the new setup's going to look like. For audio viewers, we'll try to do it justice. Basically, imagine the ball is still kicked from the 35. However, the two teams are not lining up where the ball is kicked from. They're lined up at the 40 and 35-yard line on the receiving team side of the ball. You have the 10 members of the kicking team and 9 members of the receiving team set up 5 yards apart. That is the buffer zone. Then...
Yeah, the family had a lot of buffers.
Got a lot of buffers. Then, between the 20 and the goal line, that is the landing zone. That is where the ball has to land. There are 2 returners allowed in that zone. Touchbacks in the end zone are brought out to the 30-yard line now instead of the 25. The big key here is that nobody can move until the ball hits the ground or is caught by a returner or hits a member of the receiving team. So what this does is it prevents the speed and distance at which players are charging towards the returners, which is what caused the injury. It was a speed and impact injury, not a basic play injury. And so they realized if they reduce the speed at which they're hitting them, it reduces the actual rate of injury. So that's what they're hoping to accomplish here. I think this is a brilliant change. I said it when we talked about it a few weeks or months ago. I still maintain that the XFL sees so many returns. Like I think it was like 80+% of the kickoffs are returned. It brings a play back to the game. The thing that I'm most excited about is how strategies are going to change. We moved away from like actual returners. Like kick returners were just like whatever last place wide receiver or cornerback you had. You know, just somebody who could catch a ball.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden,
drop it.
Now all of a sudden, the Darren Sproles, the Devin Hesters, they're going to come back into the fold. We just saw, I forget what team it was, just went out of their way to sign a new returner, thinking with this rule change in mind, hey, we actually have to pay attention to this position again. You know, what's the strategy on kickoff going to be? Like, where are teams going to try to directionally kick? Are the receiving teams going to try and set up weird return formations? It makes it interesting again instead of, all right, everybody just line up and stand still because they're going to go out the back of the end zone. What do you think?
Yeah, so on the one hand, I absolutely agree that they had to do something to change the kickoff because that whole, what you said, kickoff ad break.
Yeah, touchdown ad break,
kickoff ad break.
Awful.
Yeah. And the numbers said it. Oh, what was it? I think if I get this number right, I'm pretty sure. Do you know how many kickoff return touchdowns there were this season?
Was it 0?
Close.
Or was it like 1?
4. That's it.
That's so boring. There's so many games played.
Yeah, there's now 17 games now.
Yeah, they
That's
should be going
insane.
up, not down.
Yeah, that's insane that there only was 4.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So obviously there needed to be some tweaking to the kickoff rules. This is interesting. I am very. It's going to be very. We're going to know who's been paying attention to the news when that first football game rolls around. Because I think there's going to be a lot of people who aren't paying attention right now because they think it's the off season.
What is this weird football they're doing? Get this rugby XFL out of my football NFL.
Well, I just think like right now is kind of a normal time where people maybe aren't paying as much attention to ESPN or
people who aren't psychopaths like us.
You know, or they're focusing all their attention on March Madness right now
or baseball coming up.
Yeah, like they might just get a dribble of this. Oh, there's some NFL rule changes. I don't know.
Nobody pays attention to rules changes until they see opening kickoff.
September's going to roll around, and this opening kickoff on Thursday night is going to be the first play of the new season, and people are going to be like, "Wait, what? What is this?" So that'll be interesting to see. I like the boldness of it. I like trying to rejuvenate it. I think we're going to have to just see if it's effective in a full season. I'm kind of a little worried though about the whole everybody on the kicking team lining up in the one row.
Yeah,
like somebody, I think it might have been on Rich Eisen's show. Somebody said like basically the kickoff team is playing cover 0.
Oh,
that's going to be a little bit of bedlam.
Well,
because all the runner has to do
is get past that line.
If he gets past that line, there's nobody to stop him.
I mean, doesn't that really emphasize, discipline, gap discipline, and like fundamentals, like don't let them break free kind of thing? To be clear, I don't really know the full rule. I don't know if they all have to line up on the line or if they
do.
They all have to line up on the line.
As of right now, the way that it was presented to the owners, yeah.
Well, here you go as well. An element of strategy. And this is why I like it, there's so many unknowns. Because do you put bigger, stronger guys up there? Or do you put speedy, faster guys that can get through quick and get to the returner? They also have number advantage, 10 versus 9. So there's a free rusher. I mean, every single time there's going to be a free rusher. So how do they block them up? I think there's so many variables. It's going to make it very interesting and dramatic in a way. I'm telling you, week 1, when we see kickoff return touchdowns again, some team's going to break one for a touchdown, and it's going to make, there's like the new rules are already benefiting. Everybody's going to be on board after that, without a doubt. I'm excited. I don't mind that there's nobody back there as a safety valve.
What happens if it's against the Eagles?
Hey man, you got to take your losses on the chin. I mean, look, play better football. Look, it's just it's part of the game. This is what makes the game interesting. There was a time where forward passes weren't legal, and they had to find a way to adapt to that. There were times where everyone's like, no, we can't do this, we can't do that. It makes the game better because it forces them to rethink strategy, to rethink personnel, to rethink this kickoff as a play now instead of just some kind of rote going through the movements.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the status quo couldn't stand.
No, it was
that's
awful.
Fine.
I hated, like, you don't even bother watching kickoff.
Yeah,
Like, when I would watch a game, I'm like, oh, it's kickoff. I'm still playing on my phone.
yeah. Or they score a touchdown. All right, I'm gonna go get food.
Yeah, like, after they score the touchdown, you're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't need to come back for another, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally get that aspect of it.
Yeah.
There needed to be a change, but we'll see if this works to fruition. But I do see some problem areas with this proposal.
I will say that this is probably a rule that will continue to be revisited and tweaked a little bit.
I think they're going to have to allow at least a second row because literally like that quote was, you're playing cover zero.
Yeah. Well, not truly. There's the kicker. Hey, how many times have you seen a kicker save a touchdown?
David Akers.
David Akers,
And
man.
who
He's-
else?
He's
Did
laying
anybody
them
else
out.
do
I
it?
don't know. They do it occasionally.
I don't know.
I'll say this. I think a good change that I would make, if you could throw the graphic back up on
Yeah.
screen
Oh, yes.
for the video guys.
Very good.
If you're not watching the video, just imagine two lines of football players 5 yards apart. I would tweak the rule that would allow a second row for each of them.
Yeah.
Like 6 up in the front and then 4, 5 yards behind them. And I could see them clarifying, like, you need to have a minimum of X number of players on the 40 and on the 35. And then the others can be in between, your setup line and the landing zone and your setup line and the kicker.
It's also a little bit of a disadvantage to the receiving team that's on the setup zone because their backs are going to be behind to the
Yeah.
landing zone.
I was thinking of that too.
So they're not going to know when am I allowed to move?
I imagine that they will have them, if I were a coach, maybe try to have them set up like sideways and watch the returner.
But they're still going to have their head turned.
They're still going to have their head turned, but there's going to be that 5 yards. As soon as you see that ball coming down towards the returner, you snap your head back, and then you're basically ready to engage. You have that 5 yards to do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. I thought your biggest complaint, though, was going to be onside kicks.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. I'm a little sad that there won't be a surprise onside kick anymore because obviously with this formation change, now you have to declare whether or not you're doing a regular kickoff or you're going to do an onside kick. You can't do a surprise onside kick anymore.
So I wonder if teams will try to tweak, or not try to tweak, try to bend some of the existing rules. Because a kickoff is live, no matter where it lands, as long as
Correct.
it moves a certain number of yards. I don't know if that aspect has been changed, but hypothetically...
Well, the problem is it has to land in the landing zone now.
Does it have to land in the landing
Yes.
zone?
Yes.
Okay, so they can't kick it in between the 35 and the 20.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It has to land either 0 to 20 or in the touchback.
Or in the
If it lands
touchback.
anywhere else, it's a penalty.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Yeah, so you literally cannot do onside kick you can't do a surprise onside kick. You have to announce your intention that you're going to do an onside kick. Because it's a completely different formation, completely different rules.
Well, you know what? I read something recently. I probably won't be able to find it right now, but I read something recently that onside kick success is basically, it was under or close to 5% anyway. So I feel like the NFL just doesn't see the need for them anymore. Oh, here it was. The success rate of onside kicks dropped considerably after the last set of rule changes for onside kicks. In 2018, only 452, 8% were successful, and then it dropped to 6% through the first 11 weeks of 2019. So onside kick success is like single-digit percentage points. So I don't know. Like I will admit that it's kind of sad there won't ever be I've only ever seen like a couple in my entire life.
Hey, one happened in the Super Bowl.
I know, yeah. So it'll be disappointing that won't be a possibility, but I wonder if it happens so infrequently if we'd even miss it or realize it's gone.
Well, you would miss it if you're trying to come back in the game. That's really, where you
I think
miss it.
I think this promotes more fourth down attempts, which is what the NFL would probably want.
Wait, what? What? The kickoff?
Well, what I'm saying is make teams more aggressive when trying to come back. Say you're in the fourth quarter, you're down. Instead of punting, you just keep going for it on fourth down. Because the logic is, why keep sending it back to the other team when you're down? Because you know you won't have the option of an onside kick later.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So you keep. Yeah.
It promotes more aggressive play calling.
I guess you're right. Yeah, I could see that.
Ultimately, and a lot of teams do that anyway.
Yeah.
The Eagles almost never punt anymore. If they're within like a reasonable amount of yards.
I don't know. We'll have to see this year with no Jason Kelsey.
Yeah. Well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But overall, the new kicking rules, I am kind of very optimistic about it.
Yeah,
and supportive. I'm excited to see something new.
My only big criticism is that they blatantly ripped this off of XFL.
Oh, they did 100%.
It's like the balls on them. I don't know if you saw on the press release. It said this is the new hybrid kickoff system. It was like, oh come on, you literally copied and pasted this from the XFL.
Yeah, it's like basically the same exact thing. I think they just like shifted where the two teams line up, but it's basically
the same exact
concept. Well, it's not the only rule they stole this past week.
Oh yeah,
they stole another rule. This one from the world of rugby, actually, where this specific defensive move has been banned previously. The NFL is banning the quote-unquote hip drop tackle. I've been following the NFL for a long time. I had never heard of the hip drop tackle before this week, like ever. I will admit, though, once they described what it was, I'm like, okay, I've definitely seen that a lot. So what is a hip drop tackle? Let's start there. A hip drop tackle requires three things. It requires a defensive player to wrap up and grab the ball carrier. Then there's some kind of like twisting or torquing of the body to the side or behind the ball carrier while basically going dead weight. So you imagine they grab them by their hips, they swing around the back of them and just like flop. And the third element is that this usually causes the ball carrier's legs to get wrapped up under the defender's dead weight body where they land directly on the ball carrier's legs. This results in a crazy amount of injuries. The data says this is one of the most dangerous plays on the football field right now. So they're moving to ban this play. They did admit it will likely have to be fined after the fact, that this is not going to be a call that refs will be able to make in the moment because it is a very quick happening thing. And it requires something very specific. It requires that the defender's dead weight body land on the runner's legs. So if the defender's body hits the ground first and the runner falls on top of them or rolls up unintentionally, that's not a hip drop tackle. It's only when the defender's body lands on the legs. It's going to be very hard to see this in real time. So I don't know how enforcement of this is going to look, you know?
Yeah.
That's the concern for me. I'm not concerned with them banning it because it does look very, very dangerous. But my problem is, how are they going to realistically enforce it? Because they're banning it, but if they admit that it's most likely just going to be fined after the fact, then I don't understand how that's going to actually help prevent injuries.
Yeah. I guess just telling people ahead of time, like, don't do that or we're going to take money from you. Hopefully that'll stop injuries.
That hopefully will cut down a little bit. That's true. Well, what do you make of this whole situation? This actually is drawing a lot of controversy. People don't like the change.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what do you want defenders to do?
Yeah.
You know, because there's basically, I saw that the big play that this was linked with was, I think, Mark Andrews on Baltimore.
Yeah.
He got hurt pretty badly because of a tackle like this.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what you have to do if the runner has made a break for it and is going by you. There's kind of not really a better way to tackle somebody who's kind of on the side of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, and they're making a break for the end zone.
Well,
it's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. I think that I'm just going to throw it out there. I think that we had the same exact argument with horse collars, the same exact argument with helmet to helmet, the same exact argument with the wedge and kick returns. Players adapt. They do. And this isn't even how they're taught to tackle. I never played football, but I watched my younger brother play football all throughout grade school and high school. That's just not how you're supposed to tackle.
Well, no, I think this is just instinct because this is if somebody makes a break for it and they're on the side of you.
This is the last ditch effort to bring the ball carrier down. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I don't know.
You can't be in a position where you're facing the guy on this situation. The whole reason for the drop is you're off to the side of him.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so what do? Just not tackle him?
No, I think you still tackle him, but you don't. I think the key here, and once I read up on it and watched some videos, I watched the rugby video specifically, does a really good job of breaking it down, where they show what hip drop tackles are and which tackles are not hip drop tackles. And the key is the swinging of the body and dead weighting behind the legs. Like, you can still grab them and go to the ground and basically just bear hug their legs. That also stops the runner when you're at the side of them. You don't have to swing your body up and over the legs. I think that's the problem.
Well, then I think you're in the territory of how do you determine if somebody is dead weighting as they're going down?
Well, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem that I have is not the banning of it per se, but just that enforcing it is, I think, so difficult because it requires all those three elements. And then in real time, when you have all these bodies flying around, they can't possibly be able to tell if the defender's body hits the ground first or if they're landing on the player's legs. So I think that it's one of those things where it's like, on the surface, I am supportive of player safety and banning dangerous plays. But I think that when you ban a play and you want to somehow regulate it, you have to be able to enforce it. If it's not enforceable, then it doesn't have any teeth.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like conflicted. Like, I see that it's dangerous. They should do something to limit it. But if you can't enforce it, it kind of takes all the, what's the word I'm looking for? The effectiveness out of the regulation.
All the teeth out of the
it's all
the bill.
bark, no bite.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's going to be a very weird football season. I feel like
it's going to be more high scoring.
Yeah.
Because I think you're gonna have defenders hesitating to tackle people a little bit because of this, and then you're going to have the benefits from the kickoff changes. So there's going to be a lot higher scores. There's going to be more higher scoring games this upcoming season, I feel like.
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Although, we said that in years prior, but this past season was a weirdly low-scoring season.
Well, I think the NFL took notice. They want to fix it.
Oh, maybe. So we'll see how these rule changes shake out. It's going to be a very interesting season with a lot of confused football fans.
That first game you're going to know who's been paying attention and who hasn't.
That first week, there's going to be like 1 or 2 return touchdowns. People are going to be like, this is great. There's going to be 1 or 2 games decided by a weird hip drop tackle flag, and fans are going to be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
So it'll be football like normal.
Exactly. So that's what you have to look forward to this upcoming NFL season. But there you go. That's all the sports news that we have for you. But we're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere because after the break, we've got entertainment news and then the non-fortune cookie odd news as well. Don't go anywhere. This is the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
If you go to Taco Bell at 3 in the morning, this is what you're going to get. Yeah,
That clip is already coming into play.
yes,
I love it.
already. So there you go.
Stop.
What happened?
The thing went on.
Well, how did that turn on? That was
I don't
weird.
know. The fart sound.
The fart sound turned Amazon on?
I think the
What?
fart sound turned on my Echo.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. It turned on.
What are you doing, Jeff Bezos? What are you into?
Basically, he's listening to fart sounds.
He's listening to our fart sounds. Oh my god.
I changed the trigger word to fart. I got to fart at it now. I don't know what happened.
That's really awkward. You're going to have to... Excuse me.
Excuse me. How can I help you?
You may need some bowel.
Do you want me to automatically order you Pepto-Bismol? I don't know why. I don't know why I'm talking to it solely through farts now.
It actually, you fart into it.
Fart
and-
once for yes and twice for no.
No. Actually, you fart into the device, and then
Yeah.
Amazon can determine
Oh,
what
what you-
medicine you need.
Oh, right. Wow. That's next level right there. Or what you've been eating and what you want to reorder.
Oh.
I detect Cheetos. Would you like to subscribe?
Would you like a bulk order of Cheetos?
Oh, yes, please.
Cheetos ordered.
Cheetos. That story took a turn.
Yeah.
Cheetos ordered.
Okay. All right. There you go. The latest from Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
It's amazing technology, I tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, we're back here on the Crispy Noodle podcast. Oh man, I feel like we breezed through like that first segment, and we're actually a little bit over. And my mind has not comprehended time very well.
Time gets harder and harder as you get older and older.
Yeah. So we do gotta jump right into the next segment, but I just want to say, it's always good to explore new topics and talking about some of our favorite things. So there you go. I felt like I because during the break I get the ticker. How are we on?
Yeah.
In terms of the podcast.
Yeah,
And
we're
I was
long.
and I was just like, wait, what? That was
It flew by.
wow.
Time
So-
flies when you're having fun on the Crispy Noodle podcast.
That's right. So let's keep the fun times rolling. Let's jump into our second batch of topics. It's the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music,
I know what that is. That's music.
video games,
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
celebrities,
You really know Warren Beatty?
Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
and more.
You're the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, folks, entertainment entree time. And we're going to kick it off with the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you keep an eye out for this upcoming weekend with new movies, TV, and video games. It is time for Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you got for the people?
All right, first up in movies, Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire is hitting theaters this week. It's a new action film coming to theaters. It is the sequel to 2021's Godzilla vs. Kong. But this time, the two monster kings are teaming up against new enemies. The synopsis is just wild. Kong encounters more of his kind from Hollow Earth and must team up with Godzilla to defeat their tyrannical leader and a climate-changing titan from destroying the surface world. As of Titan. As of recording, there are no reviews, which is always a good sign for a movie coming out this week. No reviews, but action movie fans are sure to enjoy the spectacle of giant monsters fighting on the big screen. So go check that out. It's Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire.
So yeah, there should be Godzilla and Kong because they're teaming up.
Yeah, it's X. I don't know if you say the X or you just say Godzilla and Godzilla X Kong.
Also, they don't talk, right?
Yeah, how do you do a movie where the team up is two monsters?
Like, did they just like come out of the ocean and they're like, hey?
Yeah, they just high
five.
No, I want them to like grunt at each other, like, and that's their team up. Do they just look at each other and nod? They're like, let's go get. Like, how do they decide to work together?
We'll find out.
Godzilla looks over at Kong. He makes eye contact. He raises an eyebrow. And goes.
We'll find out in Godzilla and Kong.
You know who spends a lot of time grunting though, Rich?
Oh.
In TV, The Truth versus Alex Jones.
There he is, Alex Jones.
I swear, you can't make this stuff up. The Truth versus Alex Jones is a new documentary coming to Max this week. It covers the lawsuit against Alex Jones for claiming the Sandy Hook mass shootings were staged. Very serious stuff. But Alex Jones, it's long past overdue for an expose on the insanity that is Alex Jones.
Yeah.
On this podcast, we have always talked about his absolutely off the walls, balls to the wall, insane crap that he says.
It was like our bread and butter for a little bit there.
And then he got forcibly removed from everything.
Yeah.
And then all the sound clips dried up.
He had gay frogs.
He thought that Lady Gaga was satanic.
Yes.
And brainwashing people with drones.
Yep. He loved bone broth.
But he loved drinking a lot of bone broth. I don't know if that's good for you. I don't know. It's a little odd.
Yeah.
He said a lot of weird, offensive stuff over the years. So this is going to be a very interesting documentary. That's The Truth versus Alex Jones. It's out right now on HBO and Max. Go check it out. And finally, in video games, on a lighter note, Planet Zoo Console Edition comes to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. This is a management sim game where players must build and run a fully functioning zoo. So if you can imagine all of the complexities of running a park, and then also add the responsibility of animals to that, I will absolutely be picking this up. This is from the same developer of Planet Coaster and Jurassic World Evolution, both really good park builder sims. So this game also promises a similar depth and creative freedom as those games, with the complexity of managing all of the different park elements like shops and cleanliness and transportation, but also, of course, managing all the unique animal species needs and requirements and personalities. I'm really excited to go make some crazy parks where the tigers eat everyone. I mean, the customers enjoy seeing the animals. Or they get eaten.
Or they get locked in the bathroom.
Anything can happen at the park.
Yep.
And that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, thank you for that segment.
Be honest, though, Rich. How many people have you killed in sim management games?
Oh, a lot.
The body count is just like you're one of the worst who ever done it.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not that bad. I do some things, but
what's the worst thing you've ever done in a sim? Have you played The Sims?
Yeah, I played The Sims.
What's the worst thing you've ever done to Sims in that game?
I played Sim City. I love Sim City.
Okay.
And now City Skylines. But I think there was a thing in SimCity 3000 where you could just hurl fireballs when you completed your city.
So are you the kid building a tower of blocks and then immediately just?
And I mean, when you're done,
what else are you gonna do?
When you're
What's
done,
the next challenge?
When you're done fulfilling the square grid of your city and you can't expand anymore, what else do? Yeah, you throw some fireballs down from the sky.
I look at it as another challenge. You built the city once, but can you do it again?
Yeah. Or you can
putting
send
out the
aliens.
Fires. You send the aliens.
The aliens come down and they shoot lasers at your tallest buildings. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah.
I've done some pretty sick and twisted stuff in The Sims.
Okay, Mike. Would you like to elaborate?
So you can do this thing where you can build a pool and then remove the ladder. That's a classic, and they just swim until they die.
Yep.
You can put a bunch of flammable stuff near fireplaces, then their whole house burns down.
Yep.
But there's a really sick and twisted thing you can do where you can build a room with no doors or windows.
Yeah, and they get stuck in it.
Well, they get stuck in it, but you give them no furniture or appliances except for a coffee maker. And what this does is they get hungry and thirsty, so they drink the coffee, but the coffee makes them hyper, and it makes them need to use the bathroom. But they can't go to sleep because of the caffeine, and there's no toilet to go to the bathroom. So there's just this vicious cycle of drinking nothing but coffee all day and being completely wired, not being able to sleep, not being able to go to the bathroom, and and they just do that until they die.
This cannot be made good. It's shameful. It's a shameful, shameful day.
All right, Mike. There you go.
So that's probably the worst thing. That's the worst thing I've done in a Sims game.
You coffeed someone to death.
Yes. In an ironic twist, I now coffee myself to death almost every day because I'm so addicted to coffee now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Mikey,
so anyway,
the death purveyor of coffee.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, let's get to the main story here for
such a
Entertainment
wild
Entree.
tangent. Yeah. But let's get to the main story here. We have another interesting streaming service survey. We had one a few weeks ago, I think. This is a new one that just came out, conducted by Tubi, of all streaming providers.
One of the free channels?
One of the few free channels out there, right? I think it's called FAST, Free Ad-Supported TV is what they call it.
Uh-huh.
But let's get to the study itself. It looked at Gen Z.
FAST is the acronym.
FAST is the acronym, yeah.
You didn't mean it's actually fast.
Oh, no. I have no idea if
How
Tubi's...
fast? What? Tubi?
I have no idea if Tubi's fast.
You're speeding too fast, Tubi.
No, the acronym is Free Ad-Supported Television, I think is what,
there you go.
What
That's
they
what
call it.
fast means now.
Yeah. But Tubi looked at Gen Z and Millennials, the two best generations, and they wanted to know about... Because we're millennials.
What are you? Yeah, you're like firing all cylinders over there. You're telling people how to...
It's the coffee, man.
Yeah, death by coffee. You're saying screw boomers and Gen X. Or, yeah, Gen X.
I forgot you identify as a boomer.
No, I don't. You're really just coming out with the hammer. Damn, Mike. The hell? Yeah.
I'm so tired.
You either that or you've had too much coffee.
I think it's both. So let's get to the survey, though. The survey was conducted between... I'm pulling it back. The survey was conducted between December 2023 and January 2024. It interviewed 2,500 adults aged 18 plus in the U.S. that stream video at least 1 hour a week. So they're trying to find people who are streaming video. I feel like it's a very low threshold, 1 hour a week. I feel like that's my first issue with the study.
Well, it's just stream any video?
Stream any video.
Oh, yeah.
Stream any video service 1 hour a week.
I would have thought like try and stream Tubi or one of the other fast apps.
It would have been nice if they could have narrowed their, because I feel like it's like weirdly too broad, because I don't think it captures people who are very into streaming services. But anyway, let's get to the actual figures here. The basic finding of the survey is that the majority of Gen Z and millennials prefer watching original content rather than franchises and remakes. 74%, 3/4, prefer watching original content. Specifically,
oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is a good thing.
What a shocker! Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? It's interesting you say that because it is kind of shocking when you consider the landscape of entertainment. What's the thing that all these different studios put out the most of? It's franchises and remakes.
But that's because those are the safest bets to make.
Right. But could you also...
You know, like literally, like this past weekend, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Like, it's a meh movie, but it's going to make its money back because everyone can recognize, oh, Ghostbusters. Oh, Bill Murray. Oh, Dan Aykroyd. Oh, Finn Wolfhard, Stranger Things dude.
But you know what? We also have instances of remakes and franchises not performing well. The Marvels, Ghostbusters 2016. Actually, a lot of Marvel movies recently have been struggling in theaters.
That's probably just overexposure. You know, they just been going back to that well too many times.
Well, I mean, isn't that part of the whole franchise and remake thing?
Yes, but I think in terms of getting a movie financed and getting it out there, it is so much easier if it's a franchise or a remake, because the studio they just kind of have this carte blanche mentality that, like, okay, if it's attached to a IP, people are gonna recognize it. We're gonna make money. Let's greenlight them, as opposed to, oh, what's this original story? I don't know. I never heard of this guy before. Toss that in the bin.
Yeah. I mean, you are correct that in terms of getting a movie or TV show greenlit, absolutely, franchises, remakes, established IPs, that's the quickest, easiest way to get your project off the ground. What I would say is, you know, given the recent trends of more and more franchise and remake films not performing up to expectations, we may start to see a shift in the other direction, especially when you consider that, like I said, a lot of recent remakes and franchise films have been underperforming relative to expectations. But films like Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, they did really, really well at the box office for what they cost to make. You know, I could see a potential near-time future where studios go back to, let's do the mid-size budget films. You know, let's explore, you know, some young up-and-coming creative visionaries instead of churning out these cash cows, because the reality is you have to put up way more money for the cash cow up front. And then if it doesn't come back doing gangbusters, that you can make $200 million by making a $20 million movie, or you can make $200 million by making a $200 million movie. You know, you make $200 million either way. Because if you spend $200 and you only make $400, that's $200. You know, I could see there being a future where studios might see these recent trends and, you know, if they're smart and try to get ahead of the trend, go back to the smaller budget or mid-size films and TV shows.
Well, that's kind of what happened with the 70s films. A lot of the films in the 70s were on a mid-tier budget.
Yeah.
And that's how you got the rise of, like, Scorsese and some of the, you know, and Coppola. Like,
yeah,
that's how they came to you know, rose to the top. But, you know, I just think right now the movie studios, they're just kind of stuck in this, like, oh, we got to get more franchises out. We got to get more remakes out. Those are guaranteed successes. And it's almost like they would rather swing and miss on a home run ball.
Swing and miss real big.
Versus taking a chance with small ball, one of these rinky-dink little original films. Oh, and pour money into that. Why would we do that?
Yeah.
They'd rather go for the home run as opposed to playing small ball.
Well,
but I do agree with you. There's going to be a moment where that's going to change, where they're going to have enough.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I think it's stuck in this right now.
I think that, you know, as maybe the old guard of Hollywood continues to age out, and we start to get some of these people who are responding to these surveys, millennials, you know, our age group, as they start to head into management and executive positions at these studios and production houses, they may bring some of these ideas and trends with them. I think that could be really interesting to see. Because I think the survey shows that 74% want original content. And I think that as a purely business, forget the creative side of it, because Hollywood is The creativity only goes so far. It's a business. And just from business standpoint, if 3/4 of your potential audience want new stuff, the customer's always right. Give them the new stuff. You know? I mean, we see it a lot in TV, right? In movies, they are addicted to the blockbuster model. But in TV, there's a lot of original new content, a lot of risk-taking in television. So the model is there. They just have to be brave enough to do it. You know, I think the viewers will be there as well. Now, having said that, in contradiction, 96% of respondents also say that they want quality nostalgic content. So how do we how do we navigate this where 3/4 of people want original content, but they also say we also want the nostalgic content?
How was that? The way that question was phrased, do you want quality nostalgic content or not quality nostalgic content?
Hey, man, that's what the survey said. I think, though, that you're highlighting something important. It's quality. We don't want crap for the sake of nostalgia.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a shot at something here that might anger some people. Episode 9.
Yep.
It was a nostalgia ploy. How did that work out?
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker, yep.
It kind of tanked the sequel trilogy. We don't want bad nostalgic content. We want quality nostalgic content. The Ghostbusters, recent Ghostbusters movies. Did anybody want them or ask for them?
No, but they wanted to make money with Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd before they kicked the bucket.
And I actually don't know. Have they been making money?
I'm sure they probably made money, but the films themselves aren't that good.
Yeah.
They're very boy, you know, you really want to link everything up. Ghostbusters Afterlife is basically Ghostbusters The Force Awakens, like to a T.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get on my soapbox here, but that's another reason why The Force Awakens does not hold a place in my top tier rankings. It was just a repeat of A New Hope, and the worst part was it was successful, and it gave other franchises a blueprint on how you do a soft reboot that'll be successful and not offend the diehard fans, but also bring in some other young people into the, other young members of the audience into the tent, and they make a whole bunch of money. But is the movie itself quality of a high quality? It's not, and it I hate The Force Awakens.
So
it always gets me.
So here you go, Rich. This may help your situation here in lobbying movie studios to ignore that trend, because for every Force Awakens, there's a Ghostbusters Afterlife. $75 million budget, $204 million global box office. For $125 million, you could have done that with a $20 million piece.
Yeah, but that's a success.
Yeah, but is it a success when blockbusters are supposed to bring in $1 billion? If your blockbuster doesn't bring in $1 billion,
well,
like Marvel and Star Wars and Harry Potter.
Not every film franchise is going to be a Harry Potter or Marvel.
But that's what the studios are thinking. They made 125.
That's not chump change. They'll take that.
That's not chump change, but it's not good.
If you're comparing it to Marvel,
no, just any movie.
I think you're underestimating the value of $100 million.
Tis a little thing.
Mr. Fancy Pants over there.
What is $100 million but a small number?
Yeah, I think that's still a win for him.
No, it's a win, but when you consider that, Poor Things made almost the same amount.
How about this?
Poor Things made almost $100 million.
But let me put it to you like this: the movie studios would happily go to a established IP, pull the lever, get a movie, make $100 million, versus going out on their own, trying to find a high quality original script, trying to work the script, trying to do marketing for it, trying to get people to come into the movie theater, and then just eking by on $80 million profit. they would easily, 10 times out of 10, would rather go the first route. And it's because of, this trend.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's the truth. It's just frustrating because the numbers support what I'm saying. Because Poor Things only made, what, like $10 million less than Ghostbusters? And how much effort?
How many Poor Things, though, did it take? How many scripts did it get to finally find a Poor Things?
I would argue Ghostbusters Afterlife was longer in the making.
But the movie series aren't seeing it like I'm telling.
I know they're not seeing it like that. I'm asking them to see it like that because the numbers are there, both in terms of the viewership data.
They're not going to see
and the money.
They're not going to see it like that until they get whooped by a couple of bad losses.
They have been though. That's the crazy thing.
They're not there yet. They're getting there.
Another Marvel.
Marvel has been taking the hint. I don't know if you
Marvel has been taking the hint.
They've really started to slow down on everything because
they're
starting to realize that they're at risk of being oversaturated. Other than them, I think these other movie studios, they need to have a couple more bombs.
Well, what is it? It's Universal controls. Is it Universal that does Ghostbusters and the monster movies?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
And DC as well, I think. No, that's WB.
That's WB. Warner Brothers, yeah.
Warner Brothers and Universal are still smoking the... I think we're on the... What I'm positing is that we're on the edge of a new trend. And I think it would behoove movie studios to take advantage of it and pivot back to mid-budget films. I think there's money to be made there.
I think look, eventually I think we're both going to reach the same destination.
Yeah.
I think though it's going to take massive bombs to happen.
It will. I mean, yes, it will take massive bombs.
And I think we're still probably 5 years out at least.
Oh yeah. I mean, no, the way that Hollywood works, I mean, this survey came out last month? Hollywood isn't going to be like, well, there was a survey, let's completely change our business model next week. No, I'm talking about you're absolutely right, 5-10 years down the line, but there is certainly a trend coming of a shift back to mid-size because it's been in the news a lot about how movie studios are like, we can't keep doing the $100 million budget films. It's too costly for them. I know they make a lot, but they have to spend a lot of money up front too. I know that it's viewed as safe to pull the lever on the money machine, but one or two big misses, all of a sudden you're out $250 million.
And I think that's what it's going to take.
A couple of misses of those mid-sized films, you're out $20-30 million, which is a lot to us.
But I think that's what's going to take. Yeah. It's going to take a couple.
There's going to need to be like another 2 or 3 Marvels and Afterlifes before they realize the cost to earnings ratio is not working.
Yeah. So there you go. That is our little bit there to wrap up entertainment, but we still have one more segment left. Folks, it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing.
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda basata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that? I've seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders. Go to the bathroom because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird, wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing this story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Are we heading to the promised land?
You know what? How about we stay home?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because I got a story here that I have to just mention.
Okay.
This is relatively local. This story takes place in Camp Hill, which is a suburb outside of Harrisburg. So we could probably drive there if you wanted to.
We could visit whatever is happening here.
Yeah, if you wanted to head out there. This is a story about 26-year-old Kaisim Ransom.
Kaisim, like ransom money?
Yes.
Okay.
Kaisim Ransom.
Okay.
I don't know what Kaisim is.
I don't know what that is either.
Kaisim. That sounds like a vision superpower. I've got Kaisim.
Kaisim.
Take that.
So it's like some kind of weird like compound or something.
Yeah, take the Kaisim.
Like chemical compound, yeah. The Kaisim.
Take the Kaisim. You'll be able to see in the dark. I don't know.
I think that's vitamin C, isn't it? Carrots or no?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Well,
so what did Kaisim do?
Yeah, he's been a very naughty boy here. 26-year-old Kaisim Ransom works at a Chipotle.
Okay.
So, boy, yeah, you already know. The bar has been set very low here. We're at the Chipotle.
Kaisim at Chipotle.
Yep. He decided that apparently the working day was going pretty slow. So he decided that after a group of three women ordered their lunches, he decided to hop over the railing and decided to touch himself in front of the ladies.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
Yeah, just sure.
That's a weird choice. I mean, so you have this job all day, every day, you're just slinging burritos, whatever. And then one day you're like, you know what? I feel like slinging my burrito. Like, what prompts a person that that switch just flips? He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
So he just hops over and he's like, watch this, ladies.
Well, the girls told cops that they were seated at a communal table at the Chipotle when Ransom started to put his hands down his pants.
So weird. Why? I mean, I know why, but like, why now with those people at that time?
One woman said that, quote, she was in denial and just looked away.
I mean, what else can you do? You can either just ignore it or call the police, I guess. And what's she gonna do? Like kick him in the face? Like roundhouse kick him? There's only so many options.
When he started to get towards the end.
Uh-oh. That's a polite way of putting it.
Yes. He reached over on the table and reached for napkins.
Oh, my God.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
He didn't want to make a mess.
Excuse me.
I need something to wipe up the queso with.
I hope you don't mind.
I hope you don't mind. Sorry, are you using that? This is dire. I need that right now.
Can you pull a couple of napkins for me, please? Thank you.
Oh, God.
Apparently, he didn't cover it up very good.
Oh, no.
One of the women were able to submit her jeans as evidence because 3 squirts hit her.
Oh, my God.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
That's
a yes.
Oh, my God. That is awful. Wait, she submitted her jeans as evidence. When the cops came, did she just take off her pants and give them to them?
I think they meant like, look.
Oh, she's like this. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think she actually took off her pants and submit.
He's like, we need that for evidence. Put your pants in this bag.
No, I think she literally just pointed down like,
oh, God.
This is from him.
Oh, man. That is so gross.
Boy, man, come on. You're
just trying to enjoy a burrito bowl. Next thing you know, queso on the side. You don't want that.
I did not order queso on the side.
No. God.
You look at me funny when I order guac. Now you're giving me queso that I didn't ask for.
Oh, Jesus.
What the hell's happening here?
Oh, sure, guac is extra, but queso's free.
You get the hell out of here.
That's so wrong. Oh, my God.
The worst part is this guy, Kaisine Ransom. He's actually supposed to be the general manager of the place.
Oh, no. So he's the most responsible one there.
Oh, yes.
What's everybody else doing?
What the hell is everybody else doing at this
God.
Chipotle? What the hell's happening here? During police questioning, I guess maybe this is why he was a general manager. He told the truth. Ransom confessed that he did do everything in verbal and written statements.
I don't understand. Why do that and then just give up and be like, yep, here, I don't understand why he's a general manager at a local Chipotle. He's just minding his own business. Then one day he's like, I want to commit sexual assault.
Yeah, I'm just going to do it.
And I'm just going to do it. And then I'm just going to confess to the whole thing like it was another Tuesday.
Yeah. So he has been arrested and charged with indecent assault, open lewdness, and indecent exposure. And, of course, he's been fired from the Chipotle.
I should hope so.
I don't know. He was the general manager.
Look, I don't want Kaisine handling any of my food anytime soon, so...
I don't know where they're going to go for another responsible general manager like this.
I don't know. Apparently, he was the best of the bunch, though, which is terrifying for the rest of them. To remind me never to go to that Chipotle in, where is it, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, nearby. Yeah, we probably could drive to it.
Do we want to?
Yeah, do we want to? I don't think so.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It is by Harrisburg. I've never been to Harrisburg. Maybe we should go. Not to the Chipotle.
Yeah, let's not go to the Chipotle, though, after that story.
No.
All right. And, I think I got time for one more. And it's sort of, it's kind of on the same path as our previous story.
Why? Why are so many people doing this?
Because, in Colorado, we have another story. This is 32-year-old Steven Masalta.
The name Assault is in his name. That's not a good sign. The word assault is in his name.
Masalta.
Masalta you.
That'd be funny if, from here on out, if you commit a crime, your last name is changed.
You become that thing?
Sexual assault.
Oh, Jesus.
My battery.
Hi, my name is Bob Marson.
That sounds like a name.
It does. Marson. It does sound like a name.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the case of 32-year-old Steven Masalta. He's from Colorado. First, he was originally busted on charges where he openly touched himself outside coffee shops.
Oh, my God.
There you go. He was addicted to coffee.
He was addicted to coffee.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
Did you do this in The Sims, you sick bastard?
I don't think that's in The Sims programming, okay? And I also didn't know that story would come back around like this.
Yeah.
At least those Sims were in the privacy of their own rooms, okay?
Yeah, no, this guy was doing it outside coffee shops initially.
Oh, man. Just trying to add a little bit of extra creamer. The jokes write themselves.
Yeah. Okay, so that was what he was originally wanted for.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
So there's more.
Yes.
Awesome.
Because he had these sexual deviancy charges filed against him, cops executed a search warrant at his home, and that is where they found a cache of videos.
Uh-oh. This
Yep.
already sounds really bad.
Yep. In these videos, police say that Masalta went to local grocery stores.
Oh no!
And finished onto fruits, vegetables, and baked goods that were not sealed.
Dude, oh my God.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
Oh, now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
That's weird. Why are these ciabatta rolls glazed? Oh my God. It's so bad.
I didn't ask for these to have a glaze on.
I didn't want these glazed. I wanted plain donuts. That is so vile. At least, this is going to sound bad, but at least with fruits and vegetables, you wash and peel most of them.
Well, not the baked goods, though.
Exactly. The baked goods, that's really, really messed up. That's, I mean, it's all messed up, but that's, oh, God.
There was a bit of a nastiness last night, yes? Some very extreme nastiness, yes? Yes.
Like seeps into the bread.
Yeah. So I just can't believe they only found this out because he video recorded himself touching himself and finishing on these items at the store. So he literally was doing it and then took out his cell phone and recorded him doing this in the act.
How? I mean, Colorado.
And I know who it's coming from because I back-traced it, and I know who's emailing and who's doing it, and you've been reported to the cyber police. Consequences will never be the same because you done goofed.
Yeah, this guy done goofed.
Colorado must be a very lonely place if, like, there were not enough people around to notice this. Like, how are you in the grocery store and doing that? And you're videotaping and doing that, and...
Yeah, both of your hands are full.
Yeah. Yeah, how you carry a little shopping basket, you know? Yeah. How does nobody notice this occurring? Like, you're just, like, picking up some apples. The guy next to you is like, hey, what's up? Did you try these apples over here?
These are really good.
These are really good. Oh, man.
Well,
that is vile.
Yes, it is. To make it even worse, the
Can't
clips,
imagine how.
The clips show that he did this, during the store opening hours. So on the clips, there's film of families and minors walking by.
Yeah, how did nobody notice?
So that counts as...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that counts as sexual assault on a child.
Yeah.
Because they have proof that he was doing it in
the presence of minors, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as a result, he is up to 16 sexual assault counts. Sorry, I got to get this right. 16 sexual assault on a child counts.
That sounds really bad.
Yes.
That's like go to jail for a while bad.
Yep, and you're going to get reamed, buddy, because...
they don't take kindly to that in prison.
No.
Man, that is just the grossest thing and the stupidest thing, too.
Yep. He's being locked up in lieu of a $25,000 bond, so he is not going to do this anymore in any Colorado supermarket.
Oh, man, I feel so bad for people who may have bought that food, people who may have witnessed that. Oh, that's just awful.
I just, look, this is all disgusting and everything, absolutely. But why do you keep a video record of all this?
Yeah, I mean, I guess part of it is the exhibition of it and then watching it back, probably. I mean, I imagine he's got, like...
do you rewatch it and you're like, oh, that was a good one?
He's probably got, like, a creepy little, like every movie or TV show ever with, like, creepy, like, serial killers and stuff. They have, like, the VHS tapes of, like, all their previous crimes and, like, the secret wall,
I don't know.
He's probably doing it. He probably goes and does that and then later on rewatches it like
he's
a psycho.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one, yeah. Got that pair real good.
Yeah. Screw oranges. Take that.
Oh, man.
I showed that banana who's boss.
I showed that banana with my banana. Gross.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, like, why further incriminate yourself.
Well, yeah, he just made things a lot worse.
Yeah.
Because that is a whole new level. You can touch yourself outside of a coffee store, mister. But
they're like, that's totally fine. This other thing,
Yeah. You gave everything up with this video trove.
You know what's awful is if he had just decided to stop at some point, he would have gotten away with it.
Probably.
Because he only got caught because he decided to do it outside of busy coffee shops and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if he had just been not as insanely crazy, just moderately crazy, he would have gotten away with all the grocery store crap that he did.
Yep. But that's why he's in the odd news, because they push it too far. And it comes up on my odd news feed, and got to report it.
The videos, though.
Yeah.
Why?
Why video? Why? Yeah. Did you take notes or something? Like,
oh God,
I got away at this one. This one has a really good hidden zone over here.
Really fun to do this on cranberries.
Yeah. So,
God,
there you go. Apparently, guys just can't keep it in their pants. Coffee shop, supermarket, Chipotle.
Avoid those three places. Don't do it there.
That is an unholy trinity of where to get flashed and sexually assaulted, apparently.
God, yeah. Not good. Not good.
Well, there you go. That's what I have for you this week in the non-fortune cookie odd news. Just can't keep it in the pants.
And yeah, the same story too, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Different stores, different people.
What is it? Constants and variables?
What is this, BioShock?
Yeah.
There's always a man, there's always a jerk-off.
Yes, exactly.
That's actually Ken Levine just talked about his new game. Maybe that's the plot.
There you go. Florida man or no, these weren't Florida men. Actually, no Florida.
No, neither of them were Florida.
No.
Look at you, besmirching Florida for no good reason.
Yeah, whoops. No. So
this was Pennsylvania.
Yeah, whoops. That's us.
That's us.
Oh, well.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? Well, there's one thing you can do, and that is support the Crispy Noodle podcast. If you like our show, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media, hubbabaloo. But make sure that you have a way to get our episodes sent to you every week. 2 main ways to do that. First one is on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and you'll get it on your YouTube page. Second way is on Spotify. We put the video podcast up on Spotify, but you can also put Spotify on in the background and listen to us as an audio-only podcast. And using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you can take us on the go and listen to us as a little radio show. So there you go. You can enjoy our show in all those wonderful ways.
Yep, so many ways to get in touch with and share the Crispy Noodle podcast. But if you need to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I'm at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on X, Twitter, whatever the hell it's called these days. Let us know what's happening. If there's any topics you want us to talk about on next week's episode, let us know, and we'll give you a sausage shout-out if we do. Odd News comes to me so Mike doesn't see it. Yeah, we'll give you a sausage shout-out if we use your topic. Yeah, it's getting late. We got to start wrapping this one up. Thank you guys for listening. This has been the Crispy Noodle podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys
later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.